How's everybody feeling this morning or this afternoon? I don't know what time it is for you, but it is 7 in the morning for me. I've got a nice hot cup of coffee. We've got so much to cover. I'm going to go all the way back to Thursday, talk about LASK a little bit, but we're definitely going to be talking about what happened yesterday because it was Jose Spurs, right? It's a new style. It's a new way of watching Spurs just dismantle opponents, but I'm happy that we got 3 points. We are top of the table, and there's just so much to enjoy right now. So first things first, let me let you know what's coming up. First, we're going to talk about LASK, probably for about 25 minutes or so. I would love to hear your comments, so get in the live chat. I'll get to those in just a minute. And we've got some live callers today. We've got Bill and we've got Jinty. I'm super excited for them to be a part of this. And yeah, like I said, as always, get your thoughts in the live chat. And if you want to join our Discord server, there is a link in the description. But let's go back to LASK. Whew. Well, Ben Davies captained a 3-3 draw that saw LASK open the scoring in the 42nd minute. Bale scored a pen in the first half of stoppage time. Son scored in the 56th, and then it was just absolute chaos after the 80th minute with goals in the 84th and 93rd minute from LASK and another penalty scored by Dele Alli in the 86th minute. And by the end, honestly, I felt like I could go to Jake Tapper from CNN and he could tell us what that game was like.
That was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck.
And I couldn't agree more. I felt so disappointed by the performance. And to be honest, I had had a little bit of a week. Just some stressful things going on, trying to figure things out at home with work and stuff like that. And so I got into this Thursday game and I wanted to walk in the park. I wanted Spurs to take it to them, score some goals, not allow any goals, just enjoy the game. And instead, I got what I felt like was stress on top of the stress that I was already experiencing. So, yeah, I felt like the first 5 minutes we looked like a hot mess. LASK hit the post. It could have easily gone in. We couldn't get out of our own third. And then there was a throw in, and it just was so frustrating because you could see Ben Davies was like trying to calm everybody down. It's like, dude, we're 5 minutes into to a game against LASK. What is going on? Yeah, and it was weird too. I don't know. I was trying to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, right? You could see snow, kind of surrounding the pitch and stuff like that. Growing up in Michigan, we used to play soccer in the snow. And the ball's heavy or something like that. It doesn't fly the same way. I was just thinking, what is going on? Because it wasn't just one player. It felt like everybody. At one point, I even saw Højbjerg just kick a ball to no man's land. It was hard to watch. And by 30 minutes, I think Spurs were really feeling like LASK would just hand them the points. And they were almost confused as to why they weren't automatically winning. And I thought it was really interesting. Sure enough, Jose had something to say after the game, and I thought this was really telling.
When I saw the warm-up, that was a huge difference of intensity, communication.
That was a mistake. Let's try that again, my friends. Sorry about that. Here we go.
When I saw the warm-up, that was a huge difference of intensity, communication in their warm-up and in our warm-up. Nothing surprised me.
Yeah, that was Jake Tapper saying it was a hot mess, although I think Jose would probably agree. He was saying that you could tell by the two different warm-ups who was ready to play, who was not ready to play. And I think, it's disappointing because when you saw the team that was going out there, I thought that we should be ready. I thought we should get the points quickly, get the goals quickly, and get those points brought home. But here we are, ending that game against LASK, and we still need a win to end top of the group. And I feel like it's possible. I hope for some redemption, right, against Antwerp, but we'll have to see. So anyway, just if you have any comments or you want to let me know what you thought about the game at LASK, I would love to hear from you. So let me know in the live chat. So Let me go to the You Tell Me section of Discord and share with you a little bit about what some people said about the game. We had Senior Farquad said, Sanchez out, Skriniar in, we don't need him. And I think it was pretty clear. Last week on the show, someone said F's in the chat for Sanchez, and I believe you could say the same thing this time. Kay said, goes to show Mourinho's choice of freezing out certain players is correct. The ability of our starting 11 tonight would have been a full-strength squad this time 2 years ago, which I think is a great point. You know, like, yeah, that would have been the squad and probably how we played, maybe even in the North London Derby on Sunday, and that would have been atrocious. But anyway, so we would have been a full-strength squad this time of year 2 years ago. So it's extremely worrying that we can only trust one set of players week in and week out. And I don't know if we can only trust one set of players week in and week out. I think that, it seems like when we get into these Europa League games, at times the mentality just isn't there. They're not ready. They're not started. They're not, raring to go necessarily. So I thought this was awesome. Ryan from Bangladesh, he sent in this picture as his first reaction, and I feel the same way. I felt like, oh man, when you could just check out that, those first few minutes, it was so, just hard to watch, not really encouraging, didn't feel like there was much energy in it, except for playing defense. So Ryan also added, I would blame Joe Hart. I'm really shocked that he's been so crap in goal. He literally conceded 3 easy goals, and he's conceded 5 long-range goals already this season. The worst part could be 90 minutes for Højbjerg. What if he's not in good condition or fit for the North London Derby? Obviously, this was back on Friday when these questions were answered. Regarding your question, not even worried about Arsenal on Sunday. We can beat them easily, but still worried for Pierre. And that was my thought, what's the worst part about this draw? And again, I was coming in hoping for a walk in the park. And I think so were Spurs, and that's why, they just weren't up for it. But so I was looking at this game going, Son played 80 minutes. Højbjerg played 90 minutes. It just kind of reminds me of the West Ham match, where there's just this last, kick of the ball, goal, and you're just left feeling frustrated. But the whole time, 2 of our goals were from penalties, one from Bale, one from Delhi. And we just didn't, I don't even know if we deserved the draw. So it felt like we would have been stealing those 3 points had we gotten all 3. And kudos to them, because I felt like they really did. They were up for it. They were ready to go. And from what Jose said, they were ready to go from the warm-up. So now we have a couple audio clips. First, we have Jinty from Scotland, who's also going to be joining us live in just a second. Here is what Jinty had to say.
All right, I'm going to try and talk about this game without making you censor everything.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you helping me out with the censoring.
Third word, so here it goes. I think the main takeaway from that game is the defending counter-attack style of play we have when Jose sets up a team not to lose just doesn't work without Kane or Vinicius up front as well.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it requires a certain kind of striker, or a certain kind of play in order to work. And we definitely didn't have either of those guys, so that made it difficult.
Chucking up long balls to Son, who's just not that type of player to be pressing and holding up the ball. Another thing I noticed is that Doherty and Højbjerg were playing the same roles as Aurier and Sissoko, as in Højbjerg covers as Doherty goes forward. So it'll be interesting to see if any opposition manager targets the space in the middle.
I also noticed this and thought, I don't like it. I don't like it because I think it pulls Højbjerg out of position in a weird way that's hard to recover. And so I hope we don't do it again. I forget who said it. I think it was last week. Someone mentioned that maybe, Jose is trying different tactics in Europa. He's, just testing things out to see what'll work, what won't work, and that's fine. But don't do what we did on Thursday again, please, Jose.
It's caused when this is set up like that. So that's something to look out for in the future. Getting to the players overall, it was a poor performance apart from Tanganga and Dombele and Højbjerg.
Mm-hmm.
But as we have a saying in Glasgow, the fan dance of the night were Sanchez and Doherty, both of them making lots of mistakes.
Yeah.
One each from them led to conceding. And the most irate thing was Doherty, as he was playing like the definition of insanity, hoofing up long balls that get turned round about 20 damn times. It's like, if you try and it doesn't work, why you keep trying and trying.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, to be honest, enjoyed watching LASK play some nice football and be really up for it more than a sport on my own side, which really tells you all about that game.
Totally. Yeah, I appreciated that last point because you were able to see the positive. Because on Thursday I was not able to see that positive, but it's true. I mean, they were totally up for it, and in the end, if you're a LASK supporter, you got to feel at least proud of your team. They kept fighting literally to the very last minute. They scored 3. We had 2 penalties. They were up for it, and they played well against us, and so disappointing from Spurs, but I guess, yes, we could enjoy that someone tried hard against us. I don't know. It's just so hard to take. All right. Next, thank you, by the way, for sending that in. I always appreciate audio because it's fun to just like hear people's voices and chat a little bit, so to say. All right. So next I have Dakota. Dakota is from Tennessee in the United States. He's actually the founder and chairman of the Johnson City Spurs official supporter club, and he is a regular contributor to Tottenham Hotspur, which is it's a podcast, US-based podcast talking about all things Spurs. If you are interested in checking them out, I totally would suggest it. You can find a link to both their podcast as well as their channel in the description down below. Here is what Dakota had to say.
Hey there, this is Dakota.
What's up?
And for this game against LASK, I think it's kind of a combo, I guess, of Jose and the players. I don't think the system was set up very well. It's a bunch of players that haven't played together ever, but the players have to play better. I mean, we're a quality side that should be getting points easily against a team like LASK.
Yeah.
But all of that said, it's not a super frustrating game overall because we got the point to qualify like we needed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
dude, I hear you, but it was frustrating to watch for me. I'll just say for me. Afterwards, hearing some of the comments from people about, hey, job done, we've qualified, yada yada, I was like, you know what, maybe my week is kind of like coloring this game a little bit stronger, and maybe it wasn't as disappointing to people, but man, I was frustrated. I was frustrated because I felt like the effort didn't match LASK. And it would have been nice to have seen something better than nothing anyway. So here we go.
We're going to have to win against Antwerp either way to finish top.
Yep.
Not that really matters with the way the round of 32 is drawn. I think the most frustrating thing about today is that this team does what they always have done in the recent weeks, and that's played down to their opponent. So I don't want to see that on Sunday because we are a better team than Arsenal, and I hope that we lay it on like we should.
Yes, and dreams do come true, Dakota, because we are now in the future and we have a clean sheet, goals from Son Heung-min and Harry Kane. Just a beautiful game on Sunday, not so much on Thursday. So anyway, yeah. The good to see the chat. Yes, I got the energy Mourinho guy. Yes, of course. I mean, come on. This is the energy that we are feeling in first full season of Jose Mourinho, and looking forward to talking about some of that energy in a few minutes in the chat about the Arsenal game. All right, so let me go back to these Discord submissions. So after the game, I asked a few questions for people to get in their thoughts. The first question was, who would you blame for the performance on Thursday? Would you blame Jose? Would you blame the players? Would it be some sort of combination? So if you want to answer any of these, get in the chat. I would love to hear from you. What's the worst part about it? Like I said, was it 90 minutes for Højbjerg, 80 minutes for Son, not going top of the group unless we beat Antwerp? And at that time, how were you feeling about Sunday? Was this killing your confidence, or were you feeling like, all right, we're gonna probably see a reaction from the guys, and they're really gonna want to win on Sunday? So you let me know in the chat. I'm gonna read some of the answers. We have Regina from South Africa, who said, I don't really blame Mourinho, because he chose a good starting 11, and certain players just didn't play as well as they should, including Sanchez, who didn't look confident in possession and defended poorly, and Lo Celso was nowhere to be seen. I completely agree with you. I was watching Lo Celso, and I don't know if it was because Lo Celso and Tanguy just don't know how to play with each other. Like maybe they're like, or because Højbjerg was kind of doing something new. They were doing something new, and they just didn't feel comfortable or confident. But Lo Celso was just poor, really poor. And I don't mean to I dug out Harry Winks last week, but I mean, I said that Harry puts a bad pass or makes a bad decision 1 every 6 decisions. Lo Celso, I almost didn't want him on the ball. I just felt like it was really poor from him on Thursday. Regina continues, the worst part is probably that on paper, we really should have gotten the job done nice and early, judging from the players that were on the pitch, and certain players playing poorly, even though they know there's competition for their position. I feel a fraction less confident about Sunday, but I also realize that one shouldn't read too much into these games. I hope we can give Arsenal a proper spanking. And so we did, my friend. So we did. Welcome to the future. All right. Ravenger from California said, I question Mourinho's judgment of putting Son as a striker. All right. Honestly, they continue. I don't care about us not being top. But what I do care is 2 out of the 3 goals that we scored were PKs, so we were lucky. We all know LASK is better than Arsenal, so we can do a full rotation and Arsenal will still struggle. I love your confidence for the game on Sunday. I certainly did not feel that way myself. I was feeling pretty nervous going into Sunday. But yeah, in terms of questioning Mourinho's judgment, I mean, Son's scoring goals. So I feel like he's trustworthy to put him up there in that top spot and expect him to score. But I think in the Mourinho style of striker, I could agree with you on that. Like what Mourinho asks of Harry Kane, of Carlos Vinicius, kind of like what Jinty was saying when he sent in that audio. I feel like, yeah, Son's never going to do that. But anyway, I really appreciate both of your text responses. We got one more. This is Rob, who is also from Michigan. What's up, man? Rob says, honestly, it is what it is. We were in a somewhat new system today, a real midfield 3 with Højbjerg lying deep, instead of a double pivot with Ndombele ahead of them. First time Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Højbjerg have played together in that way this season, with a defense that hasn't logged any minutes together as the 4 of them. But my guess is Jose wanted those 3 to get minutes together in an easier game. Højbjerg going the distance 3 times in a week is definitely not ideal. Still feel good about Sunday as Kane isn't actually injured. Yeah, I agree with you on this one. Yeah, the defense, yeah, Sanchez, Darty, You just you want to give them opportunities, but not if they're going to do that. And so I don't know what we're going to do in January. I don't think we have the money to spend for Skriniar, because from what I'm understanding, they're looking for 45, 50, and we're definitely not going to get that for Sanchez. I mean, I can't remember what we brought him in for. If you remember, you can throw that in the chat. Let me know. But Skriniar is going to be worth more than him, and so we're going to have to offload a couple players, and we'll have to see. Hopefully we can get something done though, because I feel like, we'll be able to register Roden for Europa in January. I believe it's in January is when registration happens. It might actually be at the end of January, and have a little bit more backup. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be all right in the end. Like I said, I was disappointed. All right, so yeah, that's the ones from Discord, and just wanted to get into talking about Arsenal. But before I do that, one thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if you have seen or heard. Let me pull this up right here. So yeah, little bit of a sad story. So just want to let you know that if you're looking for all positive vibes, this is going to be a little bit of a sadder part. There's a Spurs fan named Brenton. He's an active member of the South Carolina Spurs. And yeah, just a real tragedy with him. And so I've got a link in the description for a GoFundMe. That's basically they're starting a fundraiser in his name. And so I would encourage you to head over, click on the link, and if you can donate anything, I know they would greatly appreciate it. So in the 32nd minute of the North London derby, people were raising a glass to Brenton here. And so yeah, if you would do that, I know they would appreciate it. And also share. They're halfway, a little more than halfway towards their goal, trying to raise $10,000 to get this fundraiser started. So I think that would be an awesome way to remember him and leave a legacy for him. So yeah, wanted to just briefly mention that, and then get to talking about this amazing derby. Huge game. And I felt like, salt and pepper, bread and butter, fish and chips, macaroni and cheese, spaghetti and meatballs, peanut butter and jelly, Son Heung-min and Harry Kane. You know what I mean? I just feel like these two, they go together, and they're better together. And so we've got this little clip for you.
It's an absolutely fantastic strike.
Harry just Kane. Beautiful.
Can he make it two? Kane. Oh, he has!
Yes, he can. These two together are a treat. They're a treat. And they are, Harry is now the top scorer in the North London derby. The two of them together are the second most potent duo ever in the Premier League, or the Premier League, as I've been corrected multiple times. Sorry about that. But yeah, I think, and we're what, just a third of the way through. And I think they're really going to do well for the rest of the season as well, as long as Harry doesn't get injured. That's one thing about watching all these matches that I think, two guys that I would be really worried about getting injured right now: Højbjerg and Kane. We were able to do what we did yesterday without Tanguy, and. You might say like Dyer and Alderweireld, right? You pull one of those out, and you're going to be in trouble as well. But I really feel like if we can keep those guys healthy and hopefully rotate that squad for Europa, and get less and less minutes for Harry Kane, it'll be only good news for us. So I'm going to take a quick break and get on with these callers, Jinty and Bill. It's going to be so fun chatting with them. But before I do that, just want to remind you, if you could take a look at that GoFundMe, if you got anything that you could support them with, I know they would greatly appreciate it. And we will be right back in just a minute. All right, everybody, we are back and we are live with Bill and Jinty. Welcome to the show, guys. Bill, I wanted to start with you. How are you feeling today?
Feeling pretty ecstatic, I must say.
Yeah?
I've been following all the threads on the Discord channel, watching some beautiful, listening to some beautiful Korean commentary for Sun's goal. Yeah,
you got to send that.
better.
You got to post that on the Discord. I would love.
It's on. I think somebody's already posted it.
Oh, did they?
I think it might be in the Reddit thread.
Okay. Yeah. I'll have to check it out.
Check that out because it's a good listen, and
Oh,
the goal
for
is
sure.
an even better watch.
Oh yeah.
And there's nothing better than a Monday morning, Monday afternoon, and winning the derby.
Totally.
So, yeah, no, I'm on cloud nine.
Awesome. And how about you, Jinty? How'd you feel about that win yesterday? Just to remind everybody, that's 5 clean sheets in the last 6.
Yeah, definitely. This run of that we're in was obviously the do or die, the dream of a solid title run, and that other performance, I think, just made me a lot more kind of confident about the real. The only person I was really obviously terrified was Liverpool at the end.
Yeah,
and I think that's the way Liverpool play. Like I don't think they'll change the way they play. They'll just have their possession, we'll soak it up like a sponge, and we'll break them. And so I think just seeing like the way, the style of play that we had against another big team, and it's came out the exact same result as Man City. So
totally.
Yeah, and it's obviously I mean, that Son goal is going to be a goal that Arsenal fans are going to have to watch for the next 5-10 years. Because we do the highlights for the North London derby goal, and
it reminds me of that one that Harry. It's like Dele does that back heel out of the corner, and then Harry just goes nuts. It's the same kind of thing for me.
Tears his mask off.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's so great. So, Jinty, Bill was saying on Discord that he thinks the City game is the most important result against these Big 6 teams. What's your thoughts? Do you think it's that game, Chelsea? Is it the Manchester United 6-1? What were your thoughts on that?
I definitely think Bill was right. The Man City game, because it really started the momentum and started kind of I think the team really started galvanizing around the idea of the way we're playing. Because I think all the media and a lot of people were also getting kind of bored of the way we were playing. But I mean, Josie only cares about 3 points, and that's how we have to play against those teams. Why try to go toe to toe for them when we can shore up our back line and just hit them on the break?
Dude, so do I, by the way. I'm just thinking, I just care about the 3 points at this point too. Would you agree, or are you happy with everything that you're seeing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I actually don't mind. I mean, it reminds me I'll take it by the UFC. People love seeing knockouts and big flashy highlights, but I love like the grappling. There's a whole level to that game, and just like defending, there's a whole level to that game.
Yeah.
And obviously, people just want to see big, amazing 20 touch passes and then into a goal. But I don't mind the nitty gritty, so it's not actually that bad for me to watch.
Yeah, I would agree, and I feel like, all the people that are complaining, the most frustrating thing to listen to, whatever you're listening to, if you're watching Sky or ESPN or whatever it is, it's just Spurs are always not good enough, not fun enough. We're top of the league, and all they can talk about is how boring it is to watch. We've got so many goals from Son and Kane, and yet they still they just got to find something that they don't enjoy. And I feel like yesterday was a 1-2 knockout punch. That was it. It was just like.
Did you see the record that you brought up about them being the second duo? The first is Lampard and Drogba.
I know.
Now kind of Jose won, but they're only 5 goals off that. They're at 36.
Oh, I
and
know.
Son and Kane are at 31.
I know.
And that's another record they're going to break.
Totally.
I mean, how many records is Harry Kane going to have to break before people start recognising that he's probably one of the best, easily one of the top 5 players in the world right now?
Well,
I think it's just a trophy. A trophy is the only thing that the doubters can say against them.
Well, and that's what whenever I think of Harry, I'm like, all these people that complain about him, or not complain, but just like don't give him enough credit and say, he had to leave in order to be great and all these things. I'm like, dude, he is great at Spurs. Like, I don't know what I don't know what more they need to see. Like, he's had he doesn't have the same team as whoever. Pick Real Madrid, Bayern, whoever, right? Because people say like Lewandowski or whatever. It's like, well, he's been playing in this Spurs team that's had like Trippier, like Danny Rose. These are the people that are delivering balls into him, right? Like, and they're good. But if he's scoring this many goals with this team, I think it just shows how much more exceptional he really is. Personally, I don't know.
It's also in this league as well.
Yeah.
No, Lewandowski is a outstanding footballer, and I'm not going to do him down at all. But I don't think the Bundesliga is as competitive as the Premier League.
Not even close.
And the same with La Liga. You've got some top teams and some excellent players in those leagues. But I do believe the Premier League is the hardest league. And if you can be banging them in, week out, and assisting, it is phenomenal. And I think it's time that he did start getting that recognition.
Totally.
I also think he's not necessarily like the most. He's not doing like countless tricks or step overs. He hasn't got necessarily sometimes that sort of really flashy style of play.
YouTube highlight football. Someone makes compilation. I'm saying like it's not like the YouTube highlight football,
Yeah.
They have like they just have compilations of them doing step overs and tricks in, but no.
Well, me and Jinty were having a chat after the game, and Jinty asked a really interesting question, saying, "Do you think if Kane keeps performing at this level?" Sorry, there's a doorbell in the background.
No worries.
If Kane keeps playing at this level, and in that position, will people then start calling it the Kane position, like you have for the Makelele role? Like, is he going to be so influential that they start calling that the Kane position?
What do you guys think?
I think it's just a trophy. I think if Jose's spell does well enough, I think that will start to become known as like the Kane role.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You just need to have, if you can win a few things, then he'll really be recognized for how influential and important his sort of transformation under Jose's been.
Well, one of the things you love about Jose when he's managing your team, but you hate about him when he's against you, is this. He's so contrarian, right? Like he's always like, you've got Pep, you've got Klopp, all possession all the time, looking for goals at all moments of the game, and then you've got Jose just being like, I'll do it a different way, and I think that. Yes, if we can succeed in terms of getting a trophy or two, then it will start to shift that conversation about how football is played. And you might have like a certain role, like the Harry Kane role. I mean, and that would be. I love Harry Kane so much. I want everything for him. I'm just being real. Like I'm like, dude, name a role after him. Give him a statue at the stadium. Like he's done so much. He's been so faithful, right? Like I think there was maybe one season that I was worried that he might get drawn away. I think it's definitely possible that they name even a position after him, and I think kudos to him. He deserves it.
There was some crazy stat. There was some crazy. Sorry, Jenny. I'll just say this. There was a crazy stat, which was like I think Kane reached 250
to say that. I was going to say as well. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah, and it's like 250 goals in like 460 something appearances.
Yeah.
And the only player to beat him to that record is Messi.
I know.
So there's no shame whatsoever to be second to Messi, arguably the greatest player of all time.
Seriously.
Beat Ronaldo, Shearer.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
Shearer. Yeah, everybody. everybody except
Yeah.
Messi. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
insane. It reminds me of the Amazon docuseries where, Jose comes in and he's talking to Harry Kane. And in some ways it felt like a backhanded compliment. Like when Jose was
Big
saying,
time stuff.
he was saying something about like superstars. And he's like, I am a superstar. And
Yeah.
what names do you want to be recognized with, right? And obviously, Ronaldo, Messi, those are the names that Harry Kane. You can see it, like he desires it so bad, and I think that's why he's so focused on getting better and better every season, adapting to whatever is needed. But anyway, yeah, I mean that's the names. He's right behind Messi, and he's ahead of Ronaldo. I mean, those are the names he wants to be talked about with, and here we are. We're talking about him.
Injury is his biggest
I know.
enemy.
I know.
It really is. But yeah, on a side note, by the way, you were
Yeah.
talking about in the show for Sanchez and getting Skriniar. Do you hear that AC Milan are in for him for about 30 odd million? I don't know
For
what they see.
Sanchez?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, but I'm like, is that from Alistair Gold or is that from Alistair Bronze? Like who's sharing these ideas?
No, don't get rid of the dream, mate. That he'll go for 30 odd million.
Dude,
Daniel
Levy
sell
might.
to one Milan and buy another.
Daniel Levy could do it. If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be Daniel Levy. So, I want to go back to Bill. You mentioned that you've bought into Jose's mentality almost as much as Højbjerg, which I love, by the way. When did you buy in? You know what I mean? Was it last season, this season? When did you feel like I'm behind him?
Good question. I mean, we have spoken about this before, and when we did the 1 year anniversary, sort of show for Mourinho. I think initially, it was like a bad breakup with Poch leaving.
Yeah.
And I felt like we were being unfaithful to Poch. So and also he's got a lot of history, a bit of baggage, and I wasn't certain about Mourinho, in part because of the way it ended at Chelsea and also in Man United, and it was a bit acrimonious. I think I began to buy in when we went on quite a good run. I think it was last December, maybe early January, and we were closing that gap to Chelsea.
Yep.
But then we started to get a few injuries, and I was worried that the Mourinho of old was returning.
Yeah.
He was sort of kind of a bit stroppy, criticizing some of the players. And you thought, oh no, is he already falling out with the players?
Right.
I think it really, and also with the whole break with COVID and then Project Restart, it was hard to completely know how effective. Like, it was such a bizarre end of the season, second half of the season.
Totally.
It's hard to actually know, is this working or not? Is it just a bit of a one-off and everybody's performing bizarrely? Since I think I really began to buy in after the United victory.
Yeah.
Because we'd had some good performances before then, namely the Southampton one, but we'd also had some terrible ones, particularly the Everton and the Everton game, and also we were struggling a bit in Europa League. Those preliminary ones.
Yes.
And it's something which I think you can see the players are buying into it more as well. I think as you keep more clean sheets, as you keep winning, as you keep grinding up these results, the fans start buying into it just as much as the players. Because, like Jinty was saying, I don't care if we score 2 goals and then we are defensive, because I want to, as a Spurs fan, and I'm sure I can speak for the majority of Spurs fans, I hope so, we want to win stuff.
Right.
We want to win stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you can play great football, because that doesn't, it counts for something, but really you want to be winning things. You want Spurs' name on the trophies.
Right.
When you go back and you look and you say, yes, they won the Premier League, they won the FA Cup, they won these European competitions, because it's great if you can get to the final of these things by playing great football. But if you don't win, it doesn't mean anything. At the
well, no one remembers
that's
it.
A bit too. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I also think me and Jinty were speaking about this yesterday. If you can install that winning mentality, that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
When you install that, it's really hard to get rid of that. It's really hard for the team to lose that, but it's the hardest thing to actually build that mentality and install that in the players. And once you've got that, it's great, it's brilliant, golden. But that's the hardest thing. and it's so pleasing to see that the players have bought into it.
Yeah. Jinty, do you think that it's actually been a gift that there's been no fans so that Jose can implement this style of play while there's like nobody like
Sitting there booing.
yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, I think
it's terrible.
we're trying to
Obviously,
see
you want to
here.
have people in the stands, but I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, man. It's an interesting thought. Like, I think I don't know, man. I think Spurs are so desperate. Like, Spurs fans are so desperate and hungry that once maybe a couple of games of playing like that, I think the crowd would be turning round to it. But I think the interesting thing, like people were saying how, like, when did you buy into it?
Mm-hmm.
See, I think Jose was saying it when I was watching him. He's kind of like first interviews. He was saying that he's not a tactical coach, and like he'll sit down and they'll have a meeting and they'll discuss and they'll have slide sheets. He's a playing coach,
Yeah.
and he really needed time to play those players. And the fact is that that project restart in the really short summer that we had,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why we were quite poor in Everton's game.
Yeah.
And the other kind of runs that we were having, because he needs time. I think I would have just loved to have seen him have a full month of just training them, because like we would have probably came out the gate like firing all cylinders.
Oh yeah.
So definitely just the fact that we've had like the crazy season,
Mm-hmm.
beforehand, and the restart and the short break, and we're right back into it. I think it's very positive that we're still hitting the ground running. He's got them regimented so much, so I do think that people after, especially the Man City game and the Arsenal game, I think people will be like, okay, I'm into this now.
Yeah.
I'll deal with it, And I don't think that's the thing, is we won't play like that. I don't think we'll play like that every game. We didn't play like that against Southampton. We didn't play like that against Man City. It's not. This is not like our first and only tactic.
Right.
I think
It's because we've been playing these bigger teams recently, I think.
Yeah.
Since the international break.
And he definitely, why, if you let them play their style, if you let them lull them into their style, we catch them on the break.
Yep.
Like I honestly think that hopefully, I think it will be like a Liverpool Villa situation, not the scoreline, but that the way that Villa just soaked up the pressure and hit them on the break. And I'm not too sure about the Palace game. Like, this is the end of this run. I'm just thinking, like, Palace look up for it now. Like, Saha's a problem, man. I'm glad we've got Alderweireld back. So it'll be interesting to see what that game comes out with. But yeah, I was really bricking it, like looking at this run, because honestly, I was like, with Man City, they're not playing as well. Their players, you could say, if you're going to make a combined 11, you could easily have very few Spurs players.
Sure.
Chelsea, I was still, I think our team could go toe to toe with them, because they're still not playing well, and a lot of them are young talent, And the Arsenal team, I mean, you would be surprised to get one Arsenal player in that Spurs side. So I was confident going in every one of those games. It's the Liverpool game that I'm really like, it's a 6-pointer for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely on this
totally.
idea of this dream of the Premier League. I think top 4 on a trophy. That's my realistic expectations. But if we want to buy into the dream, then it's going to be the next couple of weeks. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Would you two? How would you go or set up for that Palace game? Because we play them on the Sunday, and then I think it's on the Wednesday we've got.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
So would you? And then we've got the Antwerp game on the Thursday. So it's like Thursday, 2 games off, Friday, Saturday. Palace, 2 games off, Monday, Tuesday, and then we're at Liverpool. It's going to be an intense one, and I'm thinking, do you want to put out a strong team so you keep that momentum, and you don't drop, and you're sort of going like they say, you go from you approach every game like you want to win it, but you only take one game at a time, or do you say, actually, we're gonna rest players for Sunday against Palace, and we're gonna give Vinicius a start and Bale a start, or do you put out your strongest 11? Because I'm not completely sure where I stand on that at the moment. Because I think that the Palace game is an opportunity where we could actually get, because we've been going through a bit of a purple patch. You can kind of maybe drop your guard a little bit and sort of become too confident, perhaps. And I'm not sure, and I'm just kind of curious as to what you two think about that way of approaching the Palace game. Who do we field? What's our
You want to jump in?
setup?
You want to jump in first, though?
Yeah. Well, so here's what I was thinking is like, if we weren't top of the league, it would be different, right? Like, I think Jose is protect what you have, not just in games, but in terms of the league, in terms of whatever, right? So my guess is it will. I don't know if he'll put out like the strongest starting 11, because he'll still have Liverpool on his mind, even though he's it's always like it's just the next game. We're always in it to just win the next game. I feel like in the same way that the type of team that we put out against LASK, and that was disappointing. I've already made that very clear. But the type of team, it'll be a step up from that, but I think it'll be a step down from like the strongest starting 11 that we have, because I think he'll not want to risk it. And like you said, Jinty, I think Palace will be up for it, and up for it in terms of clashing. Like they're going to go hard into every tackle. And like I said, dude, I would put Vinicius probably up top on Sunday and have Harry Kane on the bench just in case. Like the last thing you would want is the game just before you play Liverpool is for him to just get a slight knock and he's not himself. I don't know, but that's me. Jinty, what about you?
I think the next couple of runs for the games, I think I'd take our under 12 side to Antwerp. I really don't care if we're first or second right now. Like in that one, I think that we shouldn't put any players that are absolute squad needs. I mean, for that game.
Yeah.
And then Palace, I don't know. Like, do you play Bale against Liverpool, or do you play like we played with against City? And it's difficult. Do you give Bailey's chance, and is Vinicius' chance? Maybe drop in Rodin. Do you? I mean, I don't know what Hojbjerg is on, because he just seems to be on another level, playing 90
No, I know
minutes
every game.
Do we drop him down? Do we give Winks a chance? Like he'll play for the badge. It's difficult. I don't know. I think. I don't know. It's definitely you definitely need to respect Palace.
Oh, totally.
Because I mean, I think they're probably going to be harder than Arsenal, which is a nice thing to say. I mean, so I definitely. I don't really know how he's going to do it. It just depends on how he wants to put up against Liverpool, and it's interesting. But on a side note, it's quite nice to be on the Monday morning, being 3 weeks nearly, being top of the league, and Arsenal are 2 bad games away from a relegation battle. Isn't that crazy? They're 7 points off the bottom, and you're just like, that's 2 games, and you could be fighting. Of that.
Well, it's kind of like us last season. It was us last
Yeah.
season, right? But I mean, 12 games in, I think it was 12 games in, we had Poch. He was sacked in that international break, and I believe we were 14th.
Yeah, we were.
And they're 15th
we were.
right now.
They could potentially be 16th by the end of the night if Brighton get a good result against Southampton tonight. They could go down to 16th.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, it would be crazy. It'd be absolutely crazy. Yeah, Bill, what do you think about that? And then I got like one final question for you guys. Thanks so much for doing this, by the way.
No, not at all. I agree with Jinty. I think, considering we've more or less qualified for the Europa League, unless LASK gets some crazy like 10-0 result and beat us on goal difference, I think we should field a weaker team against Antwerp and field. I would put Vinicius. I would play Vinicius and Bale for the Palace game, and probably Murrah as well. I think that the question about whether you play Bale or not, I feel like yesterday, they kept on cutting to Bale on the bench, and it's like, oh, is he going to come on? It's like, no, there's no need to bring Bale on when you're 2-0 up.
Right.
Like I can completely understand why Jose wants to bring on. He wants to shut up shop. He wants to guarantee those 3 points, and he's going to bring on more defenders. So like the question, and also for like the Liverpool game is I would bring on Bale. If I wouldn't start him, but if we're losing, you might say, right, well, we need to go at this game. We need to bring on players who are going to be able to maybe just have this individual sort of amazing skill who can sort of turn a game around. But if we are winning, so imagine that, and we're beating Liverpool in a 6-pointer. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if we are, I don't see why Jose would say, right, yeah, let's throw Bale on. He would say, no,
Totally.
let's put another defensive player on. I would rest Kane and Son for Palace. Put them on the bench, and if we're losing, then you could bring them on maybe in the 60th minute or something like that. But I know they didn't perform well against LASK and also against Antwerp away, but I do have faith in our B team. I do have faith in the team. And I understand why some fans don't, but I think you can have a kind of mix between the first team and the B team for that Palace game. So I would stay with our defense. I wouldn't change that. And I probably, maybe I would go for Winks and Lo Celso, maybe Dele and Bale and Vinicius, and either Lucas Moura or Bergwijn.
Can you believe that you're like, I'm not saying you, I'm doing that too, but just Gareth Bale is in the B team. Does that just blow your mind for a second?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the Bale that left.
I know, but it's just it still blows my mind that like I didn't expect him. I didn't expect him to hit the ground running. I mean, he was injured,
but he says himself he's not even like fully fit. I mean, that's the people who are right now are living the present moment, and if you just got the potential hope that people don't even realise that we're playing like this with Son and Kane on fire. What happens with Bale? It's
And you don't want to rush. You don't want to rush him back from injury. Like Arteta did with Partey.
Totally.
Yesterday.
I mean that that goal get led to because
I know.
I feel he was playing. He was their best player in midfield with one leg, and he was like they rushed him 2 weeks early probably, and now he's limping off
guys.
And Jose will know. Jose will know when it comes to January and February. We are going to have injuries, and that's when you're going to need some of those other players to step up. So take it. There's no point rushing somebody and overplaying them right now because after Christmas and the New Year, and in the New Year, that's when it's really going to be difficult, when people are going to be fatigued. So just take it slowly. I've still got confidence in Bale and lots of the B team, definitely.
Perfect. Guys, thank you so much for this. I'm going to ask you one last question. I just want yes or no answers, and then I'm going to go back to the chat and the Discord server responses. But do you guys have any pity for Klopp right now, the way he is just moaning and moaning about needing more substitutions?
No.
Bill?
Do I have any pity? I think I can understand why.
There's more than one word. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I don't. I don't. I think he's gone about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
It's Alex Ferguson. It's Alex Ferguson. My games. It really is. He's at the top when he.
You know what it is. You know what it is, Jinty. It's Kevin Keegan when Newcastle were top of the league and they bottled it against United, and that rant he had last week on BT Sport after the Brighton game, it reminded me of the Keegan moment. I would love it. It's slightly in that bracket, I think. So we'll have to see how he is after the Tottenham Liverpool game. That'll be a treat.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I super appreciate it. I also have no pity for him, and I'm going to share my thoughts, but I'm gonna disconnect this call. But guys, always a pleasure. Yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
I love it. All right, so let me just share quickly. I have no pity for that man, and here's why. We were playing 4 games in a week. No one said anything. Like, I just feel like, dude, you are Liverpool, the great and mighty. Okay, you've got a whole squad. You've got a whole roster of people that you could pull from. You've got millions and millions of dollars spent. You've got millions and millions of dollars to spend. You've got an academy. Like, show us what you've got. You don't have to put every guy out there every time. This is not Klopp's. Like, Klopp is not hamstrung here in some way. Like, he has to play these players. He has to. No, he doesn't. He does not have to. And in the same way that every other team has to rotate their squad, you too, my friend, have to rotate your squad. So that's what I have to say. Let me get to this live chat. Looks like we got some people joining us on their lunch. What's up, Holly? So good to see you. So wanting Sanchez out, of course, that makes sense to me. Sell Sanchez and Dele. That's, I want to hold out hope for Dele. Obviously, I got his kit back here. I hope that he can find his mojo again. Here's what else we got to say. Pierre is a treat to watch. 15 mil for him. He's making it worth every penny. Yes, and only 3 million when you consider Kyle Walker-Peters going the other way. Dele is absolute poop. Well, I don't know about absolute, but you didn't say absolute, but yeah, he's not great. All right, Thomas Nation. You think we're absolutely perfect, and I think, man, it's definitely a good sight to see right now. We beat the scum. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Yes, and David, thanks for joining us in the chat. And then let's see. Last thing, let's beat Liverpool on the 17th. I really, really hope that we can do that. Now, let me get to these Discord comments. Then I got to go right at 8 o'clock. But this has been so fun. Thank you so much for doing this. And we just got a couple more things. I want to share these with you because I thought some of these people had some really good thoughts. So firstly, we've got Ryan from Bangladesh. He said, of all the games that we've played against these big six, that Man City was the most important because we gained real hope and morale for the squad. Beating Man City was the most important one. As for man of the match, it's hard to tell. Kane and Son. And, today, I got my hats on these jerseys back here. My hat is off to Son. I just think that goal was inspiring. I still think Kane is the man of the match, but my hat is off to him for sure. Regina from South Africa, she said she would rank the games against the big six like this: 4th for Man United, 3rd for Arsenal, 2nd for Chelsea, and 1st for City. I put Man U and Arsenal down further because they weren't playing well and a win was expected. I put Chelsea 2nd because of our record against them, especially against the Bridge, has been quite underwhelming. So not losing and not conceding was a positive for us. I actually agree with you so much on that point that I would put it first. I think drawing at Stamford Bridge, when you consider our record against them, holding them to 0 goals was huge. And in Trophy Mourinho, we trust, Regina says, from South Africa. And man of the match was Kane from yesterday. So you guys let me know. You with Jose, 100%? You all in? Who was your man of the match? You let me know that. We'll get to you just before the end here. Okay, Techno Steel from UK says, of all the games against the top 6, I would rank them as Chelsea, Man City, Man U, and Arsenal, because Chelsea are a hard team to defend against, as they have so many creative and attacking-minded players on the pitch. Man City could have come first, but they were not in form and didn't really threaten us. Rob from Michigan said top 3 are 0-0 at Chelsea, 2-0 to City, and then 2-0 to Arsenal. As for Jose, I'm all in. It's the belief that kills you. And as for the man of the match, it's Kane. It's always Kane. He's our best number 9, number 10, and would be our best number 4 or 5 if we let him. And man, I don't know if you saw, he took that header off the free kick, and then he cleared another one with the header, and the man looked like he had a sunburn on his head from taking those shots. Lastly, Ravenger from California says, I'm fully behind Jose, and all the people at ESPN always saying that Jose will lose should quit their jobs. As for the man of the match, it's Son and Kane both equally. They got 1 goal, 1 assist both. So I'm frustrated Bergwijn didn't score yet, but I have faith in him. Bale should have played because he scores in these big games. And I think, we just talked about this. It would have been awesome to see Gareth Bale score against Arsenal. But once we went 2-0 up, I think we know what Jose's going to do. He's going to play defensive and make sure that we don't concede. And so bringing on Bale was highly unlikely. So here's what some people had to say in the live chat. Matt, don't worry, man. I want to get you on here pretty soon. So one of these days, one of these Mondays, if you have time, I would love to have you. And if not, you can send in some audio or something like that. And everybody, by the way, you can send in audio clips or text into our Discord channel, our server. So get in that Discord. It's in the description down below. Matt says, I was really impressed yesterday by Aurier. But Højbjerg just glues everything together. Couldn't agree more. Aurier has really stepped it up this season. I don't know if Darty is, I mean, he's struggling. But it gave Aurier, the kick in the pants to really step it up. And then, let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Guys, this has been so much fun. Lots to talk about. We're going to be looking at next week, Monday, same time, same place, right here. Hope you'll join me and whoever else can join. Get in on this conversation. We'll talk Tottenham together. Coming up on Thursday, we have a game against Antwerp. And to be honest, I am really hoping this happens.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
I'm really hoping that Spurs will totally redeem themselves against Antwerp and get that W. Go top of the group would be wonderful. Then we turn it right back around on Sunday and play Palace at Selhurst Park. And hopefully we keep this great run of form going. So as always, I want to thank everyone who got involved in the chat, involved in the Discord texting, audio, live callers from Bill and Jinty. Thanks for being here. And as always, if you like this kind of content, please hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of these Monday afternoon or mornings or whenever it is for you. And yeah, if you could share this, I would really, really appreciate that. And as ever, it was great talking with you.